Welcome back to the Convo Couch, everyone. Pasta Jardula here.
And I'm Fiorella.
And Johnny Sue is spinning on the ones and twos. Happy Saturday to all out there. We should be up on the Rokfin now, Rokfin. It seems to be a light amount of people that are coming in on YouTube. Some people say they are not getting our notifications. So do us a favor, hit the bell, hit the like, hit the share, hit the subscribe, all the good stuff. Rage Against the Machine. There's a lot of good stuff here. This is going to be a great show today. A lot of stuff happened yesterday, fam, so we have a lot to cover today. That's why we decided to do a Pickup Saturday show and get the ball rolling.
Well, that and we were recuperating from Corona, so we didn't get a chance to do very many shows last week. So we wanted to make it up by being here and doing as many shows as possible.
Yeah, Blitzkrieg in the thing. A lot of shows, 3 in a row, 1, 2, and 3. Let me make sure we are up there on the Rokfin, Rokfin. Thank you for all the new people who've been giving us the Super Ray.
Yeah.
Super Ray tips. Tips now you can leave on Rokfin is awesome. They haven't got a name for it yet, fam. I think Super Ray is appropriate because that Ray token is the increment or the token in which we get paid as content creators on this platform. It's a cryptocurrency, part of the Ethereum family. The Ethereum network is probably the second biggest network behind the Bitcoin network. Yep. And you can join in the fun. All you have to do is get yourself a crypto wallet. You can do it through Robinhood, any of those things. Buy yourself some Ethereum, transfer it on over to Ray, and join in the success of building this platform, Platform, not publisher, and have some fun with us. So.
Yeah, Graham was talking about the crypto. He was naming off a few resources to look at if you want to understand more of it. Like, I need to do more of that because I don't really deal with crypto too much except for Rokfin. But it's been good to us. I mean, and the site is, we don't get censored. We can talk about election fraud. We can talk about a lot of things. And we need to start divesting into these new. It's like the Democratic Party, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Yeah. It's like YouTube is the Democratic Party, right? It's like you can't leave it, but you will have to build outside of it right away. And like, I think it's time to start departing from YouTube, completely going away. And like, that goes along with my theory for everything. Like, if they're mistreating us, there's only so much we can do. We have to have another option, and Rokfin is it. Rokfin has been decent, and that's the way to do it. And same with the Democratic Party, fam, because you and I both agree on this. When it comes to the Democratic Party, we are 1,000% done with it.
Completely done. Out the door. The locks have been changed. You're not coming back in. And it really is a shame when you have to leave a party or a platform because of these conditions, because therefore, I mean, it just it's not on good terms. Let's put it that way. It's trying to get in there, trying to do something good. We've been working on building this show on this platform for a long time, and to walk away or have to leave or just get shunned the way we get shunning is kind of sad. And it's very much like the Democratic Party. Now we've been yelling and screaming on this network that, we should verify our elections. Just verify them. Let's look at them. Let's open up the books to make sure we get the representatives in there that represent us. I firmly believe that Joe Biden didn't win the primary. I firmly believe he didn't win the election. That's just my personal opinion. Not saying anything else to that matter, but because look how we have to walk on eggshells, and I feel like we have to walk on eggshells.
I agree with you 100%.
We're talking to Democratic people too, fam. It's just...
what's really sad is when so-called progressives are more interested in being cheerleaders to politicians than into actually holding them accountable. When they're more interested in relying on the Democratic Party, they've become so blinded that anything that is outside of the Democratic Party, they don't see as as viable at all. They see like they mock it. They make fun of third parties. They make fun of election fraud. They make fun of all these things that are very true. They start talking about how there is no such thing as the deep state, how like this is all like just a right-wing conspiracy theory. And they sit there and they mock you, and it's like, it's really sad because this is like what we're doing is like for you too, as much as you don't get it. Like the mechanisms that are in play right now when it comes to the security state, when it comes to how the CIA is embedding themselves in the Biden campaign or is being welcomed with open arms, and the military industrial complex as well. All of these things that are happening right now and are using COVID to actually push this further. It's all going to screw everybody, every working class person, every middle class person. And yesterday I did a little video on Facebook where I was talking about how people are going to be losing so much. It's devastation central right now. It's going to get worse. And there is no electoral path to voting your way out of this. It's just not going to happen. I'm not saying you abandon it completely. I'm saying you shift your strategy and stop doing the same thing and expecting different results.
Yeah. It's almost like those people who are talking about right now for the California Democratic chair. Mm-hmm. They're going to run Delane Easton, but I keep asking them, well, if you have a system that's set up, which it has pleos, which are pledges, which is the same thing as superdelegates, and they actually pick the chair, and they're corporate insiders or lackeys that are picked by the legislation, yep. And the elected officials, even though the last two times, Kimberly Ellis had more votes than Rusty Hicks. Yep. She had more elected votes than Bauman. Both Bauman and Hicks both grabbed the chair, did the bidding of the Democratic establishment and the corporations, and that's where we are today. So you can't even change that. I see people, I'm like, what are you doing? You're just hitting your head against the wall over here. Yeah. Nothing has changed, and if anything, I think it's gotten worse. And to see people on Facebook that I went to high school with who are bragging about Joe Biden now and stuff, when you got Neera Tanden, Susan Rice, and Anthony Blinken, and that's just to name a few, that's what you're celebrating? That's what you're cheering on? Warmongering people? I mean, Neera Tanden thought that we should go and take Libya's oil for a thank you
but at least
for
she's
destabling their country. Oh, okay. Yeah, she's a woman of color.
Everything she does now is diverse. Even the bomb dropping is going to be diverse. So, fam, let's get
ready. Really quick, just want to say hi to Anthony Reyes. Love you, fam. And Steve Wolbrandt. Love you guys.
Thank
Go,
you guys.
Nina. Hello, somebody. I am not going to support Nina Turner running as a Democrat. Yeah. Steve, I'm sorry. I'm just out of that stuff. I'm done with that. Like I said, done with the Democratic Party.
I'm not going to get in your way if you're going to do it. I'm not going to say, hey, you're a terrible, horrible person. But what I am going to say is I understand if she's in your district, you feel like she's got a chance. It's a Democratic district. I totally get that. However, if anybody can turn this around and create a new movement, if any time is necessary, it's Nina Turner, and the time is ripe too. And that's what people wanted her to do. Now, the MPP party isn't ready, but she could run as an independent. Now, people say, well, that's a Democratic district. There's no way. It's like, well, there's always going to be a reason, you guys, to not run as a Dem, to have to rely on the Democratic Party. As long as you continue giving life to this party in one way or another, there always will be a reason. Somebody will always tell you, no, just this time as a Democrat, this time it'll be different. Again, I keep alluding to the toxic relationship. This time it'll be different. I promise you it'll be different. I'll change. I promise. No, they're not going to fucking change. They're not going to change. And if you think I'm still saying the same shit that people were saying in 2016, that's because nothing has changed. Yeah. That's because we haven't fixed our elections. Yeah. That's because we're still relying on the Democratic Party. We're still voting the lesser of evils. Yeah. That's why it sounds like the same shit, because it fucking is.
Yeah. It reminds me of the movie The Godfather when Connie turned around after getting beat by her husband, and she's got the black eye and the lips. He didn't mean it. I love him.
We're not making fun of domestic abuse.
Not at all, but this is what you're saying over here, ladies and gentlemen. You're getting abused, and yet you still want to continue to go in. How much abuse do you have to take? Yep. Even this abuse.
But this time it'll be different because the candidate is different. No, the system is corrupt. You cannot pretend that the candidate is just going to magically change the system. And we learned this the hard way with Bernie Sanders. I mean, I can say that, like, Bernie Sanders, like, I thought maybe he could overwhelm the electorate the second time around. Maybe they had their shit together. We were told that they had lawyers at hand. I specifically asked one of his chairs or his people, hey, like, what are you doing about the freaking election? They're like, oh, we got the lawyers. Okay, yeah. No, you don't. Yeah. It didn't happen. I'm never again going to support a Democratic person for Congress and above, and like even city council. That is where you can even do what Shama Sawant is doing. That is where you can make change too.
And, it reminds me when Rafael Navarre and all his little goons told me to my face, oh, the law's changed. They can go show up and vote. Whatnot. I'm like, show up and vote conditionally. Conditional ballots are the same as provisional ballots. They're going to push it aside. Yep. Not to mention, I mean, I don't want to start about that election. If you look at that election, I just would like to know how Joe Biden magically got all those votes, because I know those people that were in line that day, fam, weren't showing up to vote for Joe Biden.
Yeah.
And Johnny even sent me the whole clip of when we talked to Norman Solomon. Remember at the DNC convention? Like, he doesn't even show up. He didn't even have a representative show up. But all of a sudden, this guy magically gets 25% of the vote when he was polling at 8%. But yeah, sure. Tell me that elections are fair. I get you. Let's talk about this situation right here, because a guy who was on the IR, he's coming off the IR. He's putting his pads on. His name is Justin Jackson. Awesome football player, but we've talked about it. This is one of these athletes out there. I mean, we had a guy by the name of Michael Bennett who was really vocal when it came to progressive ideology, whatnot, really had a head on his shoulders. But this guy has been one of the best. He's been far and above, fam. He knows what he's talking about. He actually supported Jen Perlman as well, which is kind of cool.
Yeah,
because he's in Los Angeles, and he's supporting somebody in Fort Lauderdale. But he understood how important it was to take a person out like Debbie Wasserman Schultz, and he tweeted out, and it finally got AOC to come out of the
woodworks,
the Democratic fortress of sorts, and give an answer to what's what. And when you saw this yesterday, I heard you go, "Oh hell no!" So let's talk about this.
So AOC responded basically to AOC responded to Justin Jackson's tweet, calling her out if she and the squad did not stand up to Pelosi. This is what he said. He said, if AOC and the squad don't do what Jimmy Dore has suggested and withhold their vote for Pelosi for speakership unless Medicare for All gets brought to the floor for a vote, they will be revealing themselves. Power concedes nothing without a demand. And I want to specify, power concedes nothing without a demand. If you're not going to freaking demand anything, then you're not going to get power. They're not going to give it to you if you don't demand it, right? And she said, problem with this idea is that there isn't enough thought given to step 2. The Dem votes aren't there yet. And with a razor-thin margin, the Dem no's are a greater margin. So you issue threats, hold your vote, and lose. Then what? If you want to know who's opposed, look at a co-sponsor list. So this was a very David Adkins type of answer. And I say that when it comes to, how the Democrats will say, oh, well, yes, there was fraud, but there's nothing we can do about it, or it won't change the vote.
Mattered,
yeah. So no. Oh yeah. Okay. We want Medicare for all. Yay! Let's cheer. Let's make it our fucking number one issue. Let me wear a mask that says Medicare for all. Let me rebrand myself as like the beacon of Medicare for all. Let me do all this shit. But when it comes down to it in action, they don't have a spine. And so then she continued. She said, in contrast, you can use leverage to push for things that can happen and change lives, i.e. a $15 minimum wage vote in the first 100 days, doable. Elevating longtime progressive champions to important positions of leadership, also doable. That's a community cost to weigh. What the fuck bullshit is she talking about? $15 an hour was already approved by the federal government. It was already approved.
Biden's already been for it.
Gonna get? Yeah, they're already all for it. Even the corporate Democrats.
Why are they so happy for scraps, fam?
But
I don't even get it.
In what world do you exist, AOC, where this is an okay response? In what world, progressives, do you not hold her accountable for this bullshit response? That if anybody else, not a progressive squad member, let's say Kamala Harris gave you this answer, you would fucking destroy her. But because it's AOC, she gets a pass. No, these people are public servants. Somehow it got twisted to where they became like monarchs for you to like cheer and behold and awe over. But their jobs originally is to literally serve the public. It's in the definition. That's what they're supposed to do. That's not what they're doing. Fam, anything else to say?
Well, I just want to talk about the whole tactic right away. She goes, if you go to the first one real quick, if you could just bring it up so I can take a look at it real quick, because I want to make sure I'm saying right. The problem with this idea is that there isn't enough thought given to step 2. The Dems aren't there yet with a razor-thin margin. The Dems' no's are greater than the margin. So if you issue threats, hold your votes and lose, then what? Okay, let me tell you then what. Now Nancy Pelosi knows that you can form a coalition at any time. You can hold her feet to the fire. It actually does better. Even if you go in it and you do lose, now you have the speaker, air quotes, going, oh my God, they can stand against us at any time.
Yep.
They use their power. I better watch my step. I better make sure I include their progressive ideology on our platform and our legislation. Otherwise, they can do this. And now here's the thing, is that once you do this and people don't support it, now you start making phone calls. Like, why didn't you support AOC and her bid to get us Medicare for all? I'm not going to vote for you. Now you put the pressure on people who don't stand there. Not say, go look at the co-sponsor list. That is so stupid.
That's a cop-out.
It's a cop-out.
And also, not only do you put... okay, so this would be basically just an exposure list, because you would be able to expose who would vote no on Medicare for All in the middle of a pandemic. That is powerful.
Yeah.
And they refuse to even just do that. Now, further, AOC could take that and say, hey, I got the people on my side. If you dare to vote no on this, we're going to occupy the offices of every congressperson, blah, blah, blah. She could do that.
Yeah.
Right now, the time is ripe for it. Why is she backing away? Well, there's only a logical reason for that. She wants to protect her position. She wants to protect whatever committee she's in. She wants to protect any sort of political career she may have, or she's scared. Or one of those two things. She knows what's going on. She knows what this means. This is just some political spinning and maneuvering over here that she's doing. And at the end of the day, the reason I'm going after the squad is because we put him in there to oppose Nancy Pelosi. We didn't put him in there to become friends with her and literally just not oppose her in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
We worked our asses off. A lot of people right now are angry at her. People who literally worked their asses off for her because she's not doing her job.
Yeah.
And it's that simple. If you don't do your job, I'm sorry. Yes, I may like you, but you're a public servant. At the end of the day, you work for the people. The people don't work for you.
Yeah. You know, it's like a lot of election integrity activists and people who, follow Tulsi, obviously, when she put them on blast and saying, hey, I'm sorry about the Project Veritas thing, but ballot harvesting is bad. Why won't you sign on to it right there? So many people refer to that, like, why didn't she say anything? Why didn't they do anything? You use the same tactic, AOC. You tell this congressman, Max Goldman, or whoever you want to tell, hey, listen, you sign on for Medicare for All right now. You're a Democrat. Come with us. Why won't you sign on? If they remain silent, they're outed. If they respond back negatively, they're outed. You can use your power and swing it any way you want. That's the leverage you have. You use that leverage. You put people on. If you are really for Medicare for All, you put people in your party on blast who don't stand there, and you
then
put
they
it
get
publicly
voted
on
out.
blast.
And then you tell them, hey, go vote them out. Vote somebody in but that's not happening because they can't even do that. They don't even have the spine to do that. So let me read Jimmy Dore's tweet. He said, 100% gaslighting. Kamala Harris co-sponsored Bernie's Medicare for All bill too. Voting is real. The people want to vote. You won't do anything to make this happen. You are revealing that you never ever intended to use your leverage to fight for Medicare for All or cross, quote, Mama Bear. And I mean, that's 100% true. And I wanted to read a couple others. I have mine. Look, quote, don't try because we don't have the votes. What a good establishment talking point excuse. That means that they don't have a goddamn spine to oppose the gatekeeper in their party. And she is a gatekeeper, by the way. They're here for you to worship them, not to be public servants. Disgusting piece of shit slime take. And it is. Because you know why I'm so angry? Because people are dying. People don't have health care. At minimum, they should have health care. They should have much more. They should have a UBI. They should have had a UBI now for months. We've received a $1,200 check. Need I remind you? And right now, they're discussing that $1,200 might be too much and trying to cut it down to $600. What kind of bullshit is that? Like, I am starting to read people's emails coming in, people's stories, and this is why I'm so angry, because these people are suffering every single fucking day.
And thank you guys for those who have responded to that. There's some awesome stuff coming in.
It's amazing.
So, yeah.
And sad at the same time.
It is.
Even our man Aaron Matei jumped in. He said, how does losing a vote on Medicare for All take away your leverage to push for things that can happen? You can still push for those things. And who are the longtime progressive champions who stand a chance to be elevated to these important positions of leadership? Exactly. If you show all the people who are anti-Medicare for All, then you can push the people who are going to lead and take charge on this. But not a single one of them is willing to do that. What's the point of the Progressive Caucus, I ask?
I don't know.
If and all these people doing all these work, saying, oh, you guys don't get what you're talking about. You don't understand politics.
Their job is to gaslight the people.
This is like the Progressive Caucus. We're getting more Bernie Crats in. What the hell is the point if not a single one of these fucking people decide that they're going to say, we're going to stand up to Nancy Pelosi. We're going to use, okay, we may not have our numbers physically in Congress, but you know what we have? We have the people. And we're going to combine our forces with the people, and we're going to make this happen for the people. Why is that so hard to do? I just don't understand. And what's the point then of electing progressives What's the point of you guys saying, well, you should support Nina Turner, blah, 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 as a Democrat? When what are the chances of her not doing the same thing? I don't know. I don't know, honestly. What are the chances of her not being crippled by the Democratic Party? What are the chances of her not being cheated by the Democratic Party? This is not a joke.
Yeah. I mean, I think the purpose of the Progressive Caucus and the progressives in Congress is to gaslight the people, to sheep herd them into the Democratic Party. I mean, they haven't done anything since they've gotten there. I mean, what have they really done? A bunch of just yay virtue signaling stuff. I mean, everybody talks about AOC's freaking Twitch bill. I mean, is that I mean, really, that's what you're coming at me, that she wanted to take down advertisements from Twitch?
Every congressperson has votes that I'm just like, what? Like I'm like, why are you doing this?
And the Democratic Party is the worst. The Democratic Party is just like they give you nothing.
No,
you might disagree with a lot of the Republican ideology, and most of the Republican establishment stinks too as well. But at least you got these rogue freaking congressmen out there that are going to fight for freedom of speech or going to fight for a free press and stuff like that. I mean, what do we have on the left right now? And not for nothing.
And that's sad.
A lot of us have been told there's the door. If you care about certain things, if you don't care about these are the two items that we care about. Medicare for all and a Green New Deal, and you can't even move the needle.
No, they don't care
on
about
that
and
a pandemic.
They don't care
but
about
that's
that.
what they tell you. You know what I'm saying?
They're showing you that they don't care about
and they
that.
can't even move the needle on that. Useless.
And so people retort, well, Fiorella, you think AOC has so much power? Like, she doesn't have any power. Like, she's just one congresswoman. Do you expect her to fix everything? On why she's not standing for Pelosi, right? They make excuses. But in the same breath, they're also pushing us to take over the Democratic Party at the same time. So that doesn't make sense. If we put people in Congress and they don't bring power to the people, which is their job, to voice your concerns, then what the hell is the point? That's all I want to say. Like, what the hell is the point? This has been happening way too long, where we've kind of let it get to this point where politicians just give you scraps and you just take it and that's it. Like, no, like people are on the brink of disaster right now, and the time is absolutely necessary for actions like this, because you cannot wait 2 years from now to vote a couple more people in, especially if they're going to follow the same line as the squad. They're like, oh, we're going to join the squad. Oh, yeah. Why? Why would I want you to join the squad if this is what the squad does? Like, I'm so sorry. Like, I don't want you in there. What's the point of having you in there? Oh, well, when there's more of us, then we're going to change. No, you're not. The Democratic Party changes you. It has. This is literal proof of that. This is a literal proof of all the people bashing and saying, oh, how you're being what is it? You're being divisive. You're being divisive. This is not a good thing to say. When I was like, well, I'm sorry, I'm not supporting any other people as Democrats. Well, this is what you get when you support people as Democrats. All these wonderful progressives, all of them, not a single one has said anything about Pelosi and Medicare for all. Not a single one has gone after her. I don't expect them to. Once Cory Bush and all these people get into office, I don't expect them to. Oh, but you can rail against Jimmy Dore for saying that they're going to be the same thing. Why wouldn't they be the same thing? All I'm seeing is the same shit. Why? Because the Democratic Party is so corrupt and infested that we're not going to be able to change it, and any sort of attempt to reform it is futile, and it's detrimental to actual progress. Period. I mean, that's just it. Here it is, right in front of you on display. Yep. I don't know what else to say.
Did you want to read any of these tweets here? Let's get to the next part then, because it's more of the same.
Yeah, that's more of the same.
Let's check so that's it for the AOC thing, whatnot. Yeah. Johnny, you have any opinions about this? No opinions about AOC? The Yas Queen, Let me check. I get this real quick. Take this off.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you for joining us today on this Saturday. There we are. Pearl Center. Read Lenin and you won't be confused anymore about bourgeois politics. Thank you so much for the super chat contribution. We really do appreciate it. Guys, hit the button, hit the like button, share.
But you know what the problem is? They've taken bits and pieces of socialism with DSA, with like the Jacobin left, with like all these people. But they have westernized it and made it this brand of socialism that's not even socialism. It's like liberal. It's I'm calling it rad libs right now. Radical libs, rad libs, because that's basically what it is. It's like, we're radicals. We're going to share memes of communism and socialism. But when it comes down to walk the walk, we're really not there. and that's what it is. It's rad liberalism, and like it's these people who just have made it like so trendy to be socialist, but they're not even pushing those ideas on the ground. They're too busy sucking up to the Democratic establishment.
Yeah.
And what's the
They
use?
all think it's all like cool to be like the socialists and the
it's just-
communists and whatnot, and they don't understand the important parts of it, whatnot, and too. And
They're not really doing it though. Pasta,
I know.
What I say.
I agree. It's just so stupid. Steve Wilbrand, thank you for the super chat contribution. Says Nina, as the leader of the squad, could be a shot caller. Only 4-seat majority. Give Nina a chance. Steve, no. I'm done giving the Democratic Party a chance. She's not going to change anything. She's not going to make them do anything. Why would they? Everything that they're being told to do right now, or they're being forced to do right now, or they're being cornered to do with the Dore referendum and people calling them out, they could have done this anytime they wanted to. They know this. The squad could have set a standalone bill for rent forgiveness and say, put this up on the floor, Nancy Pelosi. Otherwise, we're going to have a press conference every single day until you put it on the floor and put it up for a vote.
Right.
And therefore, they could have done this at any time.
Any kinds of direct action.
No.
They have it. So
Done with the Democratic.
Look,
there's no chances left of the Democratic
best
Party.
of luck to Nina Turner. I hope she gets somewhere. But what I am saying is the Democratic Party is dead to me personally.
Yes.
I'm done. They're not going to change. As hard, as amazing as you think one person might be, it's systemic is the issue. You cannot just it'd be like saying by electing this one cop, we're going to change the whole police system. That is how infested the Democratic Party is. By changing the one sheriff, we're going to fix everything. Yeah. No, that's not how it is. And further, again, we're seeing how the Democratic Party, let's say AOC and Squad and all of them have the best interests. They're just scared. Let's just say for the purposes of the argument, they're just scared and they really are afraid of losing any sort of power, and they don't want to do it because of that. Let's say they mean well. Let's just say for the purpose of that. So what's gonna do one more Nina Turner? Let's say 2 more people get in there that are progressive. How is that any different? How is that going to impact whether you bring this to a floor vote or not? It's not, because you're not going to get the numbers in the next 10 years. It's just not going to happen. And we don't have 10 years, people. You cannot vote your way out of this stuff.
It's about it being an independent in my mind, too, as well, because I'll tell you this much right now, and I'll say this on the record. If Tulsi ran as a Democrat, I'm not supporting her. I'm not supporting the Democratic Party. Yeah. It's infested to the root. I mean, the State Department, the intelligence community, they have all their meat hooks into it, controlled by corporations. You can't get away from it. You don't change the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party changes you.
And for the record, I don't support either party. So I wouldn't support a Republican, and I wouldn't support a Democrat. And I'm telling you, because it's the 2-party system is a sham. It's really just the oligarchy we're fighting.
All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. We got a $2 tip from Glory Jones over on the Rokfin.
Hey, how's Gavin Mick ass?
Yeah, these progressive punk asses ain't shit. And I'm not having the time to deal with that. Isn't divisive or eating our own, which is a charge I often see lobbied at us black and brown people anyways.
Ooh, yeah. Trust me, I've been getting a lot of it, Glory. On the Boomer book, on the Facebook. There's so many rad lips there.
I'm going to bring that up at the white guy meeting. I'm going to tell them that, Glory Jones. You're right.
Please bring it up at the white guy meeting.
Hey, real quick. I do have a comment on the AOC thing.
Oh, look at that.
So here, Comrade Misty, she says, if the CARES Act wasn't enough to get you to see what fraud Sanders and the squad types are, I truly hope them doing little more than tweet while Pelosi fucks you over again will do it, because we really need you to snap the fuck out of it. These people are not your friends. And someone said, is this one of those accounts that thinks AOC and Bernie are puppet masters who have any real control? They didn't write the CARES Act. All they could do was vote yes or no. And then that's when I said that's all they could do. AOC has 10.7 million followers last time I checked. 10.8 now.
Yeah.
And Bernie has 13.9 million followers on Twitter. They both have access to big TV outlets and YouTube. They can use all this reach to directly tell people a location to meet them to protest. They must know that they can do this, but they're not. Yeah. Why not? Why aren't they doing it? Jimmy Dore liked my tweet, and I just wanted to let you know this was before the AOC thing that happened.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
They have a lot of leverage. I looked up Nancy Pelosi. She's only got 6 million followers on Twitter.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But she's got access to the networks. But what I'm saying is that, AOC or Bernie can go on national TV.
And it's not just them. It's
MSNBC.
Ilhan. It's Rashida. It's all these people, the whole
exactly.
team, the whole squad.
Exactly. They can go and gather people to protest wherever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
Wherever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
Do they have to worry about anything when
No.
they do that? No.
Nope.
Nope.
They can't what can they do?
No. They could have had a real general strike if they wanted to. They could
Yeah.
have really had, if they were
Yeah.
all communists, socialists, whatever, they could have shut it down. Workers'
You shut
rights,
it down.
let's go. And that
That's-
was the thing, like we talk about Bernie in 2016. He was all about workers, and people across the board were paying so much attention
Yep.
to him until he became a party insider and like everything they say is bad and just kind of split all the forces. But Johnny just put it out. Look at those followers alone. You can get in the street tomorrow and people will be behind you and you can shut stuff down. We could have gotten whatever we wanted. This was time for a labor strike where Bernie was rooted in labor and he could have directed the rest of them with him and brought everybody there and they could have shut shit down until we got what we wanted.
And
at
instead
least
of doing
during a
that-
pandemic, we get Medicare for all. At least during a pandemic, but they can't even give you that.
And, Bernie Sanders is going on the Senate floor and speaking out against the stimulus and how bad it is. But he already voted for the CARES Act. He's already endorsed and campaigned for Joe Biden.
Yeah.
He already did all these things. It's like, well, now, yes, the stimulus is shitty, but you're not saying anything against Nancy Pelosi. You're only saying the Republicans are Republicans, which, yeah, they're at fault too for a shitty stimulus. But let's not forget that Nancy Pelosi played politics with the stimulus. Let's not forget that. And he's not calling her out either.
Yeah, she did.
That's why it's like, well,
she played politics with your lives. With your lives, she played politics because she didn't want to give him a victory before the friggin' election. So therefore, you suffered, chump, at home. You get nothing.
Yep.
It was so dumb. But let's talk more about Tina Turner because also we have some people that some good friends of fam are kind of seeking
They're
to work for Nina,
concerned.
right?
Well,
they want to help out.
Yeah. So
these are awesome people that we're talking.
So
about.
these corrupt POS consultants, right?
POS.
That are from the Bernie campaign, right? That single-handedly, pretty much tried to destroy the Bernie campaign here in Los Angeles, have now decided that they want to. Either two things are possible: either Nina Turner is working with them, or they are imposing themselves. It seems that the Bernie-crats here who gave me this information think that this is them, these people trying to grift off of Nina Turner's new run. So we know Nina Turner is running as a Democrat in Ohio, but we also know that these consultants are already getting their hands inside the cookie jar without maybe Nina's knowledge. We're not sure, but these consultants are actual grifters, and we talked about them on the show multiple times. I interviewed people who worked with them, etc. And I'm going to go over exactly what it is. So this is a pack that was created by these people, right? These two, Danny Andelon and Louis Myers, were hired by what's his name?
Raphael Dore?
No.
Who?
Chuck Rocha.
Oh,
the
Chuck
Chuck Rocha
hat.
and then Jeff Weaver. So they were all, like the amigos and the friends and stuff. And they got hired for the Bernie campaign, and they were extremely destructive to it. They were awful to their the people they worked with, and they released an email.
Too. Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the tapes were horrible.
Yeah. Talking
the
to
audio,
people like they're pieces of crap, like they're not even there. One of the most insulting things, if I came here and I looked at Johnny and I wanted to question Fiorella, what is she doing, Johnny? What is she doing? And I don't even acknowledge her. That is really just, please, man. You look at somebody,
and this is like they treated the regional field directors and the field organizers, who are the ones that did most of the work for Bernie, as trash. And so they're back. They had started a super PAC right after they were done with Bernie. I'm sorry, not a super PAC, a PAC. And they said it's called the 285 PAC, and it says, we support Nina Turner, Senator Nina Turner, senior advisor to Bernie Sanders, needs our support for her people-powered campaign for Ohio's 11th congressional district. Nina is the strongest progressive advocate who will put people first, donate, and a Nina Turner win will add one more critical progressive voice to Congress, blah, blah, blah. The people need her. It's not too early to start. Nina needs all the runway she can get. When elected, Nina will hold the government accountable, but we need your help to help her. No matter how good our intentions, how sound our plan, if we don't have the capacity to communicate for a critical mass of people and mobilize them, then we won't have the strength to win for people like you and me. Will you help provide us the tools to campaign for Nina Turner? Nina will fight for people and will ensure that our voices for our progressive values are heard and effective for substantiative change. Okay, Bernie 2020 opened the door for grassroots organizers, blah, 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 which none of these people are. They're all consultants. We're building a people-powered campaign for Nina that is supported by regular working-class folks like you who are interested in making this world a better place by electing candidates who put people first. We want to save the planet. We want a compassionate immigration policy, blah, blah, blah. All of this is very extremely vague in general. 285, blah, blah, blah. So this is what we did. Okay, that's exactly what we did for Bernie Sanders in California. With your help, this is what we will do for Nina Turner. 285, what did you do for Bernie Sanders in California? You didn't do shit. 285 will democratize activism by providing our supporters with the tools campaigns need to succeed. Your generous contribution and support will allow us to train organizers, obtain voter files, and communication tools of the 21st century like text apps, friend-to-friend applications, and predictive dollars for phone banking. Literally what they used for Bernie. So I don't think they would be getting anything new. Blah, blah, blah. We have proven that together we can organize the opposition. We just need the tools to scale and win. Can we count on your support? Join us to build a people's PAC. In solidarity, Lewis Myers. And by the way, they're still using the same posters from the Bernie campaign and selling them on their website, just so you know. But okay, so here it is. They have their PAC, they have AOC and Bernie, and now they're doing this. Now, there is no confirmation right now that they're actually working for Nina Turner. It seems like, according to my sources, that they've inserted themselves into this and they're trying to use Nina Turner to get money from people to donate to their little PAC. Now, these people are absolutely despised by everybody here in the grassroots community, even people we politically disagree with. They absolutely do not like these two, Lewis Myers and Danny Andelon, and these are the people in charge of this PAC. Now, this is, again, another reason, right? Why? And let me remind you guys who these guys are. Johnny was putting it up there. He put Lewis's face on there, who he is. You can see what he where he's worked. You can see how he's pretty much from the consultant class. And I wanted to specifically point out this part of the letter, because there was a letter, you guys, and Nina Turner knows about this letter. Okay, just let me throw it out there. She knows about this letter. She specifically got told about this letter by multiple people I know, like in person, 1,000%. Jane got handed this letter. Like this is all. Everybody in the Bernie Sanders campaign knows what happened with the grassroots, right? So a good friend of ours made this whole the Bernie autopsy website where you can go, and if you have time, you can refresh yourself as to how corrupt the Bernie Sanders campaign was from the very top, specifically, right? Now, I'm not talking about the people that did a lot of work and put their heart and soul into this. Those people got screwed. But they went over the treatment of the grassroots. There's even a Jacobin article on how bad it was. And then there's a letter from the grassroots community to Bernie Sanders campaign. This was back in December 16, 2019. So this was even before we even hit 2020 that we were already saying, get these people out of here. These people are horrible. Like before 2020. And that was since the summer we were already saying this. So it took those months because people were like, we don't know how to do this. We don't want to bring negative attention to Bernie. We don't want to destroy his campaign, but we have to say something. And, they talk about misogyny, undermining, Rafa Navar, Melissa, this woman named Melissa, I forget her last name, but I wanted to read a specific part here about how they were treated. And Melissa Byrne is her name. Okay, so I just wanted to read a quick part here. I think it's all the way down here. Okay, here we go. In addition to the treatment shown to new volunteers, the attitude has been extended. It's like almost at the end. It's right underneath. Lack of commitment to ground organizing. That one. And then you go to the 1, 2, 3, 4.
Go ahead, read it.
All right. In addition to the treatment shown to new volunteers, the attitude has been extended to seasoned grassroots organizers whose hard work and dedication constituted the heart and soul of the 2016 campaign in California. Going all the way from the ground all the way to Philadelphia. All of this has manifested as noticeably as depressed turnout at the canvases and phone banks. While we know that the senator is currently surging in the polls, it's also true that these organizing events' target goals are not being met. In several regions, reliable and dedicated legacy super volunteers are simply walking away in favor of grassroots organizing efforts, so not the campaign, leaving these regions with fewer and fewer events hosts and connections between the campaign and the community. Senior and mid-level field staffers regularly scoff at the efforts of the grassroots, both figuratively and literally, rolling their eyes at the local group's organizing efforts. They have actively sought to schedule competing events rather than talk to them about how they could become part of the campaign effort on the ground. They have even gotten upset over seemingly immaterial matters, such as volunteer organizers wear grassroots t-shirts. In addition, a national staffer who attended a private gathering of talented top California artists and creatives told them that their contributions were not needed and that their time was better spent knocking doors. So this is how they treated these people who put their heart, sweat, and tears and everything into electing Bernie Sanders. If in any way, shape, or form, this 285 pack with Danny Andelon and Louis Myers, and by extension, Chuck Rocha, because he also has his little pack, and they're all, trust me, they're all in collusion with each other. If by extension any of these people have anything to do with Nina Turner, I am telling you, do not, then at that point, you need to run the other way. But I'm not saying that is true right now. I am saying they are inserting themselves. Do not donate to this pack. You can support Nina Turner all you want, but donating to this pack right now, that is like detrimental to anything you want for Nina Turner. They are absolute grifters, consultants. All they care about is making a buck out of the progressive movement. They manage to dupe people. But here in Los Angeles, every grassroots Bernie person that worked on as a field organizer, and even those that worked as regional field directors, know who they are and are against anything to do with them. So I just wanted to put that out there because the Bernie fam was upset upon hearing this. They were extremely disappointed. They didn't know if this is knowledge to Nina or not. So we will see. We're trying to figure it out.
See, it's kind of funny because at this point, I think I'd already set a course on a different ways when I saw what was going on, only because of ideology. And a lot of the reasons that really pissed me off when it came to the Bernie Sanders campaign in 2020 was who they picked at top. People from Center for American Progress, bringing back people like Weaver and Rocha. And, had I not, I showed up in Orange County to try to talk to
Rafa.
Talk to the staff here, right? Let them know, alert them of what's going on. We had talked, me, you, and Johnny. We said this is like a slow-moving meteor coming here when it came to the California primary. Mm-hmm. And we saw everything, all the problems that were going to be there and blockades for Bernie Sanders, and trying to alert them, their attitude, the way they treated us, you know what I'm saying? And more importantly, too, the attitude they had towards Carlos Marroquin. Now, I'm not going to be with Carlos Marroquin, everything ideology-wise, but when you want to talk about one of the best activists in California, what this guy does, the way he was shunned, the way he was shut out, it was just disgusting what they did to this guy. I felt so bad, and I got to meet people, in person like Rafael Navarre, and I said, none of these people are good. They're going to hurt Bernie Sanders. They're going to hurt his message. They're going to hurt, pushing away the grassroots here, because that's all the people we knew, were all the activists out here doing all the work, kept getting shunned and pushed away and shunned and pushed
insulted,
away.
Belittled,
scoffed at.
bullied,
eyes rolled.
Bullied, insulted, belittled. I mean, it was not, it was a toxic working environment. And we've had many discussions. Several people who used to work for the Sanders campaign come in here and talk. Volunteers, all of this has already been discussed to death, right? But now they're trying to do the same with Nina Turner, and that's got to be stopped. So if you want to let her know, if in any way, shape, or form, whatever it is, but stay away from this pack, Nina, and stay away from anything to do with these people. These people are toxic. They're going to take you down.
Bernie Sanders won as an independent. I don't know why people can't win as independents. So if you have a populist name, a populist movement, it took him a couple times, but he won as an independent. That's the key. Yeah, if you have 5 independents across the country that win seats in the House, that changes the balance of power. Just look at what Jesse Ventura did when he won in Minnesota. It was so crazy to hear him speak. Like 1 week, the Democrats were coming after him. They were pissed off. The next week, the Republicans were coming after him. They were pissed off. And each side was after each other. And it was like he was in the middle And they had to work with each other because it wasn't just one side versus the other side. So I mean, it was an independent-minded person out there throwing legislation that's a populist-minded legislation.
And Misty said, she's from Ohio. Misty said that the Ohio has open primaries.
Open primaries.
So
now.
that's even worse. It's even worse because Ohio has open primaries. So
Osla Fave,
real quick.
Sorry, go ahead.
In this email from them, down here at the bottom, it says, paid for by 285 PAC, not authorized by any candidate or committee.
Right.
So I don't know what that means. To me, it sounds like they're just trying to get.
Yeah, they're trying to grift.
They're trying to grift. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems pretty obvious. Our
Grifting.
Bernie fam told us that these posters, or maybe this one, was from.
No. Yeah, they are. They
were given free to Louis Meyer's office, and then now they're trying to resell.
They're trying to sell it. Yeah.
To
Yeah, they
people.
were.
Grift
that's confirmed.
If you want to.
Yeah, grift.
Grift
They're actual
around the
grifters.
world.
I know people use that word lightly, but this is an example of actual grifters. Stay away from them, progressives, as much as you can. I don't care if whatever. Go ahead with Nina. Go ahead and support, but stay away from these people. They're awful.
Osla Fave, thank you for the super chat contribution. Roar Media supports the Convo Couch 100% on these points. Heart. No more Pinos. Progressive in name only. That's the Pinos.
I like it. It's a dangerously close to something else, but Pinos.
What is the TERF thing? The TERF? Or...
that's like when you are a person of LGBT. Like, so you're a lesbian, but you're against trans people. That's what TERF.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I got to get caught up on all my acronyms over here.
You're a boomer. It's
Dunning
okay.
Uyghur. Thank you so much for the super chat contribution. It has MPP included civil liberties in their platform. I don't know what MPP is included in their platform. No. It seems like the AOC Light campaign half the time because I can see a lot of memes they share from AOC and whatnot.
They haven't yet, and the thing is, supposedly, and foreign policy too, because they haven't. You have to vote on the platform yet. Yet they have a lot of like Medicare for all and all that stuff, but they somehow left off the speech stuff, then
they're just
foreign policy.
I wonder what they think about the Dore referendum.
The Dore referendum? I mean, they're all for it.
They should be on board. I think even if you're a semi-progressive, you should be on board.
Okay, but I thought the whole idea of starting MPP was so you don't have to deal with the Democrats anymore. Like, I didn't understand that. Every single time I turn around, they're trying to move the Democrats in a certain fashion to kind of work with them. So it just tells me you got the same ideology as them, and there's nothing that separates you. You can build upon what they have. You can take the good from the Democratic base. You can take the good from the independent base and make yourself your own party. But when you're constantly out there trying to get the Democratic Party, you don't want their approval. You don't want to deal with them anymore. You want to be saying, look, they won't give you Medicare for all. We will. They're not going to do it. Why even trust them? Why even try to move them? They're not going to do anything for you. Come with us. We'll get it done. Done with the duopoly, boomer. Curious 49. Thank you for the super chat contribution. I don't know who you call him, boomer pal, but geez.
He's not technically a boomer. I just call him a boomer because he can be a boomer sometimes. And I love boomers, some of them.
Yeah.
I love my favorite Zoomer is Glory Jones, though. She's my favorite Zoomer.
Damn, Fee, get the scoop on this then. Hashtag Scoop Gang.
Scoop Gang.
Scoop Gang. That's from Gloria Jones over on the Rokfin. Guys, we only have 12 of you over there. We need more. ROKFIN. Hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the bell, hit all the good stuff.
It's Saturday, fam. Did you have brunch yet?
I did not have brunch yet. I had lunch.
Is it a surprise that Joe Biden is really awful to black people? Is that a surprise to you? Because he said you ain't black if you didn't vote for me, man. So, in a leaked recording, fam, Biden says that the GOP used defund the police to beat the living hell out of Democrats, basically saying, blaming people for using that term. And Johnny, I'm sure you're going to have something to say about this. But also, we talked about Vilsack, the guy, and he refuses. He hurt not just white working class farmers, but he also hurt black farmers, and they brought this up as well. So I have a couple things I want you guys to hear on this. The Intercept obtained this audio, and they put it out there, and it was a whole 1 hour, almost 2 hour video of Biden talking with black leadership and them giving him their concerns and what they want. And some of it, a lot of it was, like neoliberal-ish along the lines, even along the lines of the election. I listened to a lot of it. But some of them made some good points. In particular, this one woman made a good point. This is what they asked him at 45 minutes and 27 seconds, Johnny.
Act, which everyone on this call among our groups worked on and that we think is so important. It's not clear that we have the votes for it, but President-elect, that politics is not about simply saying there are this many Democrats and this many Republicans. The president has power. He has the bully pulpit. He has moral authority. And so we would ask you to lend your voice and your strength and your influence and your power and your ability to reach across the aisle to try and pass the George Floyd Justice in Policing Act. But failing that, we would ask you to pull from that act measures that can be enacted by executive order. You have the power to call for a national database on police misconduct. You have the power to ask for a registry that will allow people to easily search in public multiple misconduct complaints against particular officers. You have the ability to impose a database around police killings and police shootings. We know everything that happens to police officers because the FBI keeps a database, but we rely on the Washington Post to tell us how many people have been shot and killed by the police and what the racial breakdown is of those statistics. We need good data so that we can understand what is really happening around policing. And these are things that you can do by executive order.
Okay. So that was the ask. They want him to use his executive power to pass something to where they have a database for these officers, which I think is a good solution. It's not even crazy. It's something that's common sense. But multiple people spoke and they criticized him in some areas. And then Joe Biden retorted with this response, which I think it's one of the most disgusting responses I've heard.
Respond. I've got to go. Let me respond. There's a lot to respond to here. Let's get something straight. You shouldn't be disappointed. What I've done so far is more than anybody else has done this far. Okay? Number one. Number two, I mean what I say when I say it. I mean what I say when I say it. I'm the only person who's ever run on 3 platforms that I was told could not possibly win the election, and I never ceased from it. One was on restoring the soul of this country because of what I saw happen in Charlottesville. That was it. No one else was talking about it. The words of presidents matter. Nobody else, no progressive, was talking about it. I did. My son Bo used to have an expression. He'd say, remember, Dad, home base. It ain't worth the job if I can't say what I believe. I didn't want to run this time. I ran this time because of the racist son of a gun who was president of the United States of America. That's why I ran. And you'll remember, a lot of you told me talking about the soul of America was going over people's heads. They didn't know what we're talking about. The words of a president matter. What a president says matters. And you've never seen me shy away. In the middle of the debate, I called him a racist. In the middle of the debate with him, I took on white supremacists. I'm the guy that took on every single time somebody was threatened in this country. The only white boy you know who did it, period, out there, every single time. So look, all I'm saying here is, guys and ladies, we're on the same exact page, We talked about closing the racial wealth gap. That's the single biggest thing I want to get done. It's the ultimate equalizer, no matter what else happens, because I plan on spending over $15 billion to provide for opportunity for young Black entrepreneurs to get them off the ground, Black farmers to be able to own their own property, young people being able to get their first $15,000 down payment on a home, making sure that they have an opportunity to gain wealth. We can do all the rest of this unless the Black community is able to make up the wealth gap, in my humble opinion, is real trouble. I support same-day registration. I'm the guy that extended the Voting Rights Act for 25 years as a United States Senator. Before, Sherilyn, you were even involved.
So he's basically attacking them. But I did this before you were even involved. And I'm the guy. It was all about him. He's a narcissist. It's okay. He's a narcissist. This is all about him, right? This is the guy. Hey, I'm the only one that said anything about Charlottesville. False, literally. I'm the only one that cares about black farmers. No, you don't, because later on, after being very condescending and rude and arrogant to a group of people he's supposedly trying to win over, if that's how you win people over, I want to know how.
Why did he even believe this guy? This is such an idiot and stuff. I mean,
that's a good point.
This is like, why are you even starting to believe this guy? This is the segregation who said on the floor of the House that he didn't want his kids growing up in a racial jungle.
Yep.
Okay, he was opposed to mandated busing so that poor people of color can get into schools and get themselves a good education. He was against using federally mandated dollars to do that. He's also the guy who pushed for the Iraq War, who bombed indigenous people in their homeland. I mean, how many times has this guy got to screw you over the head that you could sit here and you think you can have a forum for the guy who authored the 1994 crime bill? And every single time you go back and listen to him, he's bragging about it. He's bragging about putting people of color behind bars for a long time. And now you want to sit there and act like you can pull rank and get this guy to change his ideology because Obama said so?
The thing
is, how naive are you, Kay?
You change ideologies, but you get him to do something before you give him your vote, not after.
Yeah, no shit.
And this is after the fact. So yes, there is definitely criticism on that end. But the thing is, it gets even worse, because then he goes on to talk about how Vilsack and defunding the police, how he won't. He's going to put this guy in, this Monsanto guy. We talked about who this guy is. Let's just remind you guys, Tom Vilsack was the agriculture secretary under Obama. He's a Monsanto goon, Monsanto king, Mr. Monsanto, pushing USDA factory, big AG, big agriculture, dairy farms, etc. It's the same type of guy, right? He hurt black people a lot of black farmers. That's why they brought him up. He also hurt a lot of the white working class that were farmers. He, like we talked about the other day, he was pushing the merger with Bayer and Monsanto. He's that guy. I don't have to go over him again. We literally went over him in depth. But this guy, he's saying, no, I'm not going to get rid of him. In the last bit of the video, this is his the rest of Biden's response on these issues.
To restore it, but we have to do it because we got to convince people. Absolute last point. One of the things I'd be concerned about, just as was pointed out to me that you wanted me to be concerned, Derek, I think it was you said it, about dealing with Vilsack as in terms of agriculture. Well, first of all, you can learn more about Vilsack's record, but my point is this. I don't think we should make that a big issue going into before January 5th when the election takes place down in Georgia. But I also don't think we should get too far ahead of ourselves on dealing with police reform in that, because they've already labeled us as being defund the police. Anything we put forward in terms of the organizational structure to change policing, which I promise you will occur, promise you. Just think to yourself and give me advice whether we should do that before January 5th, because that's how they beat the living hell out of us across the country, saying that we're talking about defunding the police. We're not. We're talking about holding them accountable. We're talking about giving them money to do the right things. We're talking about putting more psychologists and psychiatrists on the telephones when the 911 calls through. We're talking about spending money to enable them to do their jobs better, not more with more force, with less force and more understanding. But I just raise it with you to think about. How much do we push between now and January 5th? We need those 2 seats about police reform, but I guarantee you there will be a full-blown commission. I guarantee you it's a major, major, major element. And as Reverend Al said, I was a pain in the ass to everybody except him when we did the commission before. I didn't think we went.
And so he's literally telling you again for the 900th time, we're not going to defund the police. Okay, this is how the GOP beat us, even though that's not true. Because he was saying he wasn't going to from the start. So he's already telling you he's not going to do this, even after the fact. So before you gave him your vote, you could have said, hey, if you don't do these things, then you're not gonna get our vote. They didn't do that, and now after the fact, he gets to pretty much use BLM, use these groups, and even BLM has started speaking out against Joe Biden and Harris. They said they haven't heard from them. It's been 30 days. They haven't heard from them. What did we expect, people? Did we expect Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, the freaking warmonger, the freaking Mr. 1994 crime bill, and his cop VP to actually come and change their stance on an issue they've told you time and time again that they're not going to change? Did we really expect that to happen? Come on. Well, this is why you don't vote for Joe Biden. This is why.
They were also, Joe Biden was part of the administration that heavily militarized the police.
Yes.
Okay, that's the issue that people just, I mean, why would you even think he would go in any direction with you whatsoever when you're just avoiding the fact that this is the guy who helped take all the weapons out of Fallujah, all the weapons out of Iraq, and he put them in the hands of the police department. Like, that's what they did. So, I mean, he's the one who should be held accountable for taking away the weapons and stuff like that. You're talking about military grade weapons on the streets here in America, and we know how that turns out, right? So, I mean,
Yeah, and
I don't know why this guy is just talking in circles. He doesn't. He's not standing for anything. He's not doing anything. He's pretty much just like, just vote for me, and I'll give you more lip service, and we'll move on.
And that's exactly what he's done. So now we voted for Biden, or you guys voted for Biden. Now what? Now what are you going to do? There's nothing left to do except understand this is what you voted for. Yeah. And now, you can oppose him, but you're not gonna. Well, you have no leverage. Progressives have no leverage. People who want these sort of things, the only leverage you have is to continue exposing him in every single way, and making sure that you use the people to now continue protesting him. I don't understand why people aren't protesting as much. Oh, wait, I do, because the orange boogeyman is no longer the target. It's now Joe Biden, and he gets away with it with his cryptic neo-fascism that he's employing, and that is the danger right now. And we said it. We saw that woman from Black Lives Matter who said it's harder to fight Joe Biden because he's this guy that is, the 1994 crime bill author, a racist and everything, but he gets away with it because of his party, because he's not the orange man bad target. And that's going to make the fight much more difficult. So the only thing people can do is up the ante, so to speak, fight harder.
Well, it's just so stupid, because if whatever ideology you believe in, this guy is completely lying about what he stands for. Yep. He's been caught bragging about the crime bill. It's a Democratic crime bill. A Democratic crime bill. I'm the guy who pushed a Democratic crime bill. He was saying that stuff years ago. That's
up
completely.
Until recently.
I mean, it's just ridiculous. Now it's a 180. You know what I'm saying?
He's not going to do it.
It's so stupid with this guy. And you know what I'm saying? Once again, this is why, I mean, I know we're going to go into the next topic, but why I told you yesterday, it's like I'm having a hard time looking at anything else because I am so consumed and upset by the election issue, because guys like Joe Biden, in my opinion, right now, would have never won their primaries because they didn't win their primaries. Yeah. There's no way. This guy couldn't fill our living room. Now all of a sudden you're going to tell me he got 10 million more votes than Obama? I just don't believe that. I don't know how you guys can believe that. But
10 million more votes than Barack Obama. Are you serious?
It's depressing, man.
That's a bunch of malarkey.
Thank you, Johnny. Oh, what the F does the $ do? Go for the throat, Convo Couch. Thank you, DJ Elf. DJ Elf in the house. Right, he knows. My man over there. This guy DJ Elf is holding MPP
DJ
accountable
Elf is ready
on
for
every
Christmas.
level. DJ Elf is ready for it. You ain't pulling the wool over DJ Elf's eyes, MPP. He got you on lockdown, pal. He got you on lockdown. Good job there, DJ Elf.
DJ Elf in the house.
In the house. Did I miss? I thought I had another super chat. I don't want to miss it real quick. Okay, let's talk about the
your conspiracy theory.
Yeah, well, I made a video with Tim Canova. We only released it on Rokfin. We went into detail about the Texas lawsuits. An hour later, it was dropped. It was thrown out.
They threw it out.
It was gone. It was
they threw it out because there's no evidence.
Well, no, it's lack of standing. Okay, now.
So what does that mean?
The Texas Supreme Court, right?
The United States Supreme Court.
Really?
The United States Supreme Court. And we're going to get into details in there because I got some memes in there because all we can do is laugh about it because the 3 justices that Donald Trump put in the court didn't even side with him. And it was only Alito and Thomas that wanted to really take up the case. But right here is the Yahoo and we're going to talk about this because it's so disheartening when I heard it was thrown out for lack of standing.
Well, they obviously didn't side with him because it's a conspiracy theory and it's not real. That's obviously why they didn't side with him. I mean, that's what people are saying, right? It's even the judges Trump put aren't siding with him. That's because there's nothing there. There's no evidence, Pasta. Show me your evidence. Come on. Show me your evidence.
And that's the thing that really sucked about this because it just gave me nightmares about what happened with the Democratic DNC lawsuit as well. The lack of standing, meaning that they can't even go into the evidence. They can't judge it based upon its merits. They're saying there's a lack of standing, meaning it doesn't qualify to take it up and litigate on it because it doesn't have enough weight behind it. Right. You know what I'm saying? That's what lack of standing is. And eventually, when it came to the DNC lawsuit, that's what they said because the DNC pretty much said, well, technically they have the right to pick who they want because we're a corporation. Therefore, it was thrown out because of lack of standing because technically they did have the right to do that is what they're saying, even though they lied about their charter. But it says a last-ditch effort to throw the election to Trump squashed by the Supreme Court. The U.S. Supreme Court on Friday rejected a lawsuit brought by the state of Texas that sought to overturn the results of the presidential election by invalidating millions of votes in Pennsylvania, Georgia, Michigan, and Wisconsin. The lawsuit was joined by 17 states. It actually made it up to 18 states. Now, you think about this as attorney generals. This is the top of the friggin' food chain of as far as, litigators and lawmakers joining this lawsuit. The president won in 2020, asked the court to allow legislations in both battleground states where Trump campaign is contesting the results to appoint new electors, but the court declined to take up the case, delivering what may be the death knell to Trump's re-election fight. And it might be, I don't know. In a decision issued Friday evening, the court denied the complaint of a lack of standing, meaning Texas did not succeed in showing that it has vested interest in the matter in which other states conduct elections, okay? So pretty much what they're saying is that Texas doesn't have a right to say that, despite it being a national election, that they can say that, hey, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Georgia, what they did was wrong. What they did was unconstitutional, and it affected our voting system because it was a national election. The court said no. They said, get out of here. Sorry. They don't want to do it. But we also talk about this now. It's the fact that a lot of judges, they don't want to get involved in this. They're petrified to get involved in elections. They don't want to overturn anything. They don't want to be a part of it. And here's a tweet from Jared A.I. Beck. I traced it back to make sure it was on his other thing. Lack of standing, just like the DNC lawsuit was dismissed for lack of standing, right? Everyone lacks standing. And it's just a shame, fam, because it gave me just, what's the word I'm looking for? Just a nauseating feeling about remembering what happened with the DNC lawsuit. And I put it up here. The court concedes the DNC had the right to rig primaries against Bernie Sanders. So once again, the same tactics they're using here now against Trump, they already used against Democrats. They pretty much said that it was a lack of standing, that the DNC had a right to rig their own primaries, despite lying about their charters, making you feel that you had a democratic process in which you donated money to one candidate over the other. That's what this thing, it made me nauseous. It made me just disgusted. I just couldn't, I was demoralized. And the funny thing is that the Trump SCOTUS picks, which remember all these people were saying, Donald Trump is putting all these people here on the Supreme Court. He's rushing through ACB because he wants to use it to help them with the election. So when they kick it to the Supreme Court, right? The Supreme Court has now got 3 people from Donald Trump that's going to overturn the election for him. Not true.
But I thought he was staging a coup. I thought he was just going to impose himself like a tyrant that he is.
It's not the case.
You swallowed the propaganda. Trump was never going to do that. We told you that here. These people, it's the establishment versus the oligarchy, and they don't have use. I'm not saying Trump is anti-establishment, but they can't control him as much. They don't have use for him. these people aren't like even on the right. They're not going to fight for election integrity. This is what I've been saying. They don't want the truth. These people on both ends, they don't want the truth.
The establishment does not want the truth.
Because they're the establishment.
Yeah.
Both on the Democratic side and the Republican side, there's an establishment that doesn't want the truth because it's the same fucking oligarchy, and they overturn elections, they overthrow countries, they do all these things. Do you really think that they're going to allow this to happen? Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, it's so easy to come back and say, well, they threw it out because there's no evidence. But it's like, we can't see into the evidence. Like, we experience it here in California. Our progressive friends, they can't see into the ballot box. They can't have a real audit. Yeah. So you can't say that there's no evidence. But we don't hold the wheels of power here. They do. They hold the levers of power.
Yeah.
So
the shame about it is that people are happy and satisfied with this result right here, but they don't realize it's the same mechanism. And that's why I kind of brought up the DNC lawsuit and how I was just mortified yesterday. I felt so defeated. It's like, what does it mean to talk about a Green New Deal or Medicare for all or ending these regime change wars with the beginning process is making sure that we get the representatives in that's going to represent our populist ideas. And I'm saying populist right now. I'm not even saying progressive because I'm trying to encourage people even on the other side of the aisle to understand the populist ideas. What the populace wants will never happen because if they control it at this level and then your lawmakers are selected, they're not elected, we won't get anything. It doesn't make a difference what you're arguing for. When a person like Joe Biden can get in there, once again, you know what I'm saying?
The guy who was in 5th place.
Yeah, was told to drop out, which there's so much shit. And once again, all we should be fighting for, all of us, is transparency.
Yep.
Johnny said it a million times. We're just fighting for transparency. Open up the black box. Let us see the ballots. Let's count them in public, on camera, by hand right now to check what the machines are doing, right? To make sure that we know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that all people are just like, they had a fun time with this yesterday, fam, on Twitter. All the Trump haters.
I'm sure.
So I had to go out there. It says all three Trump Supreme Court appointees declined Texas election case. All three of President Trump's Supreme Court appointees, Justices Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, ABC, joined Chief Justice John Roberts and the 3 liberal justices in declining. So I had to get to memes there because the memes were so funny yesterday. I figured we'd have to have a laugh. We've had a serious show. So let's take a look at some of the best memes on Twitter. The first one I like, okay? E2 Brute. Donald Trump going, oh my God, Kavanaugh, Gorsuch, ACB, you have betrayed me.
There is a little bit of karmic justice in this, I gotta say.
I know, right?
I gotta say, you put him in there.
You did. And Jared Beck also did put, maybe if you put justices that really cared about election integrity more than anything, therefore we would seriously start to get this situation straight. Not just these other abortion and all this other bullshit. This one is my next. I love this one. This is like, you see when these are rolling up, this is when Donald Trump rolling up on Kavanaugh. It's like, don't look to the right, man. Just keep your head straight. Don't look, and he's just staring at him going, look at me, you son of a bitch. Look at me. I love this meme. Look at dude keeping his head straight. He's like, he's blinking.
People do that though. They stare at you from their car, and it's really weird. I don't look at them either.
Hey, look, we found 3 of Trump's Supreme Court nominees hanging out last night. Oh, there they are.
Oh my God!
Of course, it's Kavanaugh and ACB.
Feel bad for Trump.
I know people just had such a fun time with this one. This is Trump. We had to do a Godfather one. This is him confronting Kavanaugh. Hey, you broke my heart, Fredo. You broke my heart.
I mean,
sorry, I don't know why these are so funny, but because so many people, so many of the Democrats, he's putting them in there. He's going to overturn the election. Bullshit. None of them even sided with him.
They're not going to side with him.
And of course, we have to have a Star Wars meme. It is treason then. So Trump looking at Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, and ACB. You know what I'm saying?
I like this one.
Oh.
I mean.
Oh
well. I mean. You reap what you sow. Nobody cares about election integrity except the people who want transparency. These people in power, That's it. They're not going to do it. They would expose themselves on both sides of the aisle. Democrats and Republicans alike would expose themselves if we had an actual uncovering of everything wrong in our elections. And it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't think it's just going to happen.
There's a big rally down in in D.C. today.
Mm-hmm.
A bunch of people are down there, supposedly.
Yeah.
It was pretty big. I peeked at it this morning when I got up.
Is that
a couple thousand people. That's
Jason
where Burmis
Burmis
is at,
okay.
and Corinne Forever. And
it's a rally for what? I'm sorry?
It's a Stop the Steal rally.
Oh,
It's
okay.
pretty much the Stop the Steal rally. They had a bunch of, Trump people out there, whatnot, protesting. So we'll see. I mean, Jesus.
I mean, at least people are getting out there for election integrity, but I mean, again, like, you know how I feel. Some of the way they framed it was completely...
Yeah, I mean, it was so dumb. I mean, and it's some of the whole thing. The thing I think, not even so much the ghost of Hugo Chavez past pissed me off, was the fact that, even Giuliani, hey, Stunad, if you don't think that these immigrants are voting, it's like immigrants don't vote in the election that much. If it happens, it's so minuscule, you don't know anything about it. We know, undocumented workers out here, they're not going to go and expose themselves and do something. Yeah. It's just stupid to go down those avenues. And they couldn't get away from their own ideology sometimes. And it really did. It wasn't for the benefit of the president to do that, or wasn't for the benefit of people who want election integrity. Yep. You shouldn't have mentioned those things. You did mention a lot of other things that weren't mentioned by the right before that are finally out there. Now, don't get me wrong. Some people on the right, like the EIP, the Election Integrity Project, they always say this is a nonpartisan issue. They are more right-wingers, but they say it's a nonpartisan issue. And they were like one of the only ones on the case when they start talking about, hey, we need transparency. We need audits. We need to eliminate ballot harvesting. You know what I'm saying? How important was ballot harvesting right now? Because now you have all these ballots that go out there, right? A bunch of them get mailed out from your mailing company, let's say K&H for Los Angeles, for that reason. Whether you like it or not, the poll booklets are overloaded. There are people who have moved on, people who have died. So all those ballots that got mailed out come back to where they're going from. I can just hand them to you and go, fam, here's 20,000 ballots. Just walk them in. Fill them out however you want and just walk them in, because ballot harvesting is legal and we have no integrity at the ballot box. It's stupid. Now, I know and the reasons why they were able to create these problems, fam, that's what these long lines were about. That's what it was about, that they made it such a process that takes so long. It's so tedious. It takes up your whole day that if you have an opportunity to just mail it in and I don't have to wait 7 hours, you're going to agree to that right away.
Right.
So it's like one whole friggin' type of plan that worked together to meet where it's at. And right now, we have uncertainty across the board. No matter what happens, all those people who voted for Trump are not going to believe in these results. We have not verified these results. I still don't believe in the 2016 primary. I still don't believe in the 2020 primary results. And I'm saying across the board, we have no transparency. We have no audits. I mean, and it was against the law to shut these people out to scrutinize these signatures. We've seen tape of them going, I want all the Republicans out of the room. I mean, like, you just incriminated yourself. So when people say, where's the evidence? That's evidence right there to look and see if we can find the proof inside what's going on.
Not to mention the numbers and everything else. And like, sure, let's laugh at Trump. And this is kind of funny and karmic in a way. And it sucks too in another way. But just wait until your favorite progressives run. Just wait. Just wait, because we haven't fixed our election system. So go ahead. By all means, pretend that election fraud doesn't exist. Well, I'll see you in 2022. I'll see you in 2024 when you latch on to the next Democrat that runs and you think they're going to save you in this process. I'll see you then and see if you care about election integrity then. Because until we actually fix elections, it doesn't matter how many parties you want to create. It doesn't matter how all these things you want. We're not going to get it because we don't have any power. We don't have any power to actually elect people we want. Yeah, and it's as simple as that.
And it sucks that the fact that you make the trade. Okay, so if we do let's say we do a forensic audit across the board, here and there and stuff. All right, so Trump wins, but what about all those progressives that got cheated from the establishment that would have won too? You'll get them. You'll get the Maria Estradas. You'll get the Angelica Duenases. You'll get the Shahid Buttigieg. You'll get these people in office too as well. You'll get more power because they cheat those elections too, especially those elections. Hasn't the establishment showed you that they are more scared of social democrats than they are of the Republicans? Have they not showed you that they are more scared of Bernie Sanders than they are of Donald Trump? How do they not show you that? That's who we're fighting for here. I'm not fighting for Donald effing Trump here. I'm fighting for fair elections because all these down ballot candidates that want to bring real populist change and know their districts well, that want to make the change are getting shut out. So the big establishment bigwigs like Tony Cardenas and Brad Sherman that can always vote for the Patriot Act, that always can vote for other shit that you don't pay attention to. I don't even know where to go on this stuff.
Yeah.
Did you know that that apparently Texas and other states might succeed?
Yeah,
I don't know if you heard about that.
Some fucking donkey again. Just shut up.
Yeah, following the Supreme Court's dismissal of Texas lawsuit, Texas GOP chairman released a statement calling for states to secede.
I know, he's an idiot. I saw this yesterday. I don't pay attention to this stuff.
That's interesting, though.
Because I know Alan West.
Of
he's
the
from Florida,
Party
though.
of Texas.
Yeah, he's originally from Florida.
He says the Supreme Court in tossing the Texas lawsuit that was joined by 17 states and 106 U.S. congressmen has decreed that a state can take unconstitutional actions and violate its own election law, resulting in damaging effects on other states that abide by the law. While the guilty state suffers no consequences, this decision establishes a precedent that states can violate the U.S. Constitution and not be held accountable. This decision will have far-reaching ramifications for the future of our constitutional republic. Perhaps law-abiding states should bond together and form a union of states that will abide by the Constitution. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
And we're gearing towards a civil war because we're not paying attention to the truth here. That's all. Like, that's what the system wants to push. They want to push a civil war. They want to push a race war. They want to push all these things.
Yeah. This is not even half as exciting, Johnny, if you hear about the military options that are still left on the table, supposedly that's going on. That they have the servers and whatnot, you know what I'm saying? Which we do believe they have the servers, but they're saying there's other information. And really, to tell you the truth, when you start looking at a lot of stuff, it gets scary. You don't know what to believe, but I'm just not going to go in there and stuff because it's the same thing. It's like, oh, Democrats just want open borders and communism. No, they want fair immigration policy, and they want workers' rights. They don't want to freaking start going full-blown Mao over here. They want workers' rights. That's why all the card-carrying Democrats and the people like Fred Hampton were about communism. It's not about the ideology of the authoritarianism and one control, one party. That's it. It's about workers getting rights. And so if you say, well, communism's bad and stuff, well, you have a problem. Because your capitalism is merged into crony capitalism, and now workers get nothing. 45% of the homeless people have jobs.
I don't
that
turn
is
him
an issue.
into a commie over here.
Jesus. I'm not anything. I'm an independent thinker across the board. I want the best for everything. But when people on the right say this shit, it just drives me crazy. No, they don't want communism. They want workers' rights. What's your answer to that?
When they say that Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are communists,
Jesus
that
Christ.
drives me insane because they're Republicans.
They're global capitalists. They're global capitalists.
Yeah, just like a lot of the people on the right too are also capitalists. They're just more national capitalists. A lot of them. You're still.
Well, you know what? At this point, I'll take national capitalism over global capitalism if it's going to say that you're going to come home and take care of our workers. I'll do anything at this friggin' point.
Capitalism and workers isn't working.
I know. It's crony capitalism. It turns into crony capitalism, so you have to fix it out. When you have 650,000 homeless people on the streets and almost 1 out of every 5 is a veteran, you have a problem. Your capitalist argument isn't working.
When people are killing themselves because they don't see a way out of losing their businesses, of losing their houses, of getting, removed from their homes forcefully, when they don't see a way out of all this debt that they've accrued, all their savings are gone, and they think they're figuring out how to end their life because they can't take anymore. The system is fucked and it's not working for anybody, and that you're not going to vote your way out of that. There's no voting your way out of that in a system where we can't even rely on our elections. So what is there to do? The only thing to do right now is push direct actions at these politicians, which is what I did that yesterday, because that is the only thing we can do. There is no way to vote out what is happening here. It is fascism in its form. We're seeing Silicon Valley, we're seeing the CIA, we're seeing the military-industrial complex, we're seeing all of these people combined, and now they get to dictate your elections flat out right in front of you, and they gaslight you into thinking it's a conspiracy theory, and then if you buy into that, well, then there you go.
Yeah,
welcome to the new prison.
I'm getting a little bit upset. I said yesterday, I can't wait for a progressive to run and get cheated in another election. I'm going to laugh in your face. I'm not going to laugh in your face because it is a sad thing, because at the end of the day, I want clean, fair, and transparent elections. But this is what you're not getting. If you're going to sit here and say this is okay, and you're going to make stupid comments, not mentioning any names out there, and say, well, the Democrats just cheated Bernie. They didn't treat Donald Trump. Like, what makes you think they had this coming to Jesus moment in the election? Why wouldn't they cheat Donald Trump? They'll cheat anything. They think the ends justify the means, and they want to put all their cronies back in there, and they're doing it.
The system will manipulate elections, whether it's a Republican or a Democrat, whatever is in power at that time, whatever is the establishment hold, the establishment puppet. That's what will happen. That's it. It's a bipartisan practice, you guys.
It is. It's the establishment.
Period.
Donald Trump. Barack Obama in 2008. When he won his record friggin' election, he won 800 and something odd counties. Okay, Joe Biden gets 10 million more votes than Barack Obama did, and he only wins 519 counties because they had avalanche dumps in these areas in the middle of the night. Where's the water leak, everybody? Where's the water leak that they shut down and they kick everybody out? You can't see that they're doing this, and it's sad that people help cheat this shit because they thought the ends justify the means. No, they don't.
As long as we get Trump out, everything will be fine. Well, now look where we're at.
There you go.
Even if you want to ignore that, look where we're at right now with Joe Biden.
Trump is not my champion at all by any means. But this is man versus the goddamn machine here, and you're putting this donkey in right now, and now what's going to happen? We're going to spend all this time. Now the left is going to spend all this time defending a guy who doesn't even have the same ideology as them. He doesn't even have the same plan as them, who said he'll veto Medicare for all.
The sad part is we could have avoided all of this if Bernie Sanders had fought for election integrity in 2016. And the sad part is he literally won both primaries, in my opinion. He won both primaries.
And he didn't fight.
And
he didn't fight.
Yeah. So anyway,
Victory Gin, thank you for the super Ray contribution over there on Rokfin. You're fabulous at the Convo Couch. Thanks for keeping it real. We've got your backs. Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. Glory Jones put some names down there when I was saying certain things, not mentioning any names. Ryan the White Knight, Jordan Charlatan. Yeah.
Jeez, Glory Jones, way to call people out.
Jesus, I love Glory.
I
love you, Glory. You're the best. Xavier Foster, thank you for the super chat contribution over on the YouTubes. We have over 400 watchers over there. Guys, hit the like button, the thumbs up button. We got a lot of trolls in here today. They've been coming after Feast, and she's been going after their Yas Queen AOC. Big Tech and MSM support Biden. Hello, censorship. No shit. We say this all the time. 16 million Big Tech gave Biden. 16 million.
It's funny how progressives who are so about intersectional, issues and supporting people of color always seem to attack me and never Pasta when we say the same thing.
No, we don't say the same thing.
No. Misty pointed it out. No, you criticize AOC worse than I do sometimes.
Now I do.
But what I'm saying is the vitriol's always pointed at me. Glory Jones knows what I'm talking about. It's just hilarious to me. Like, okay. These people, you know, a lot of you progressives, the trolls in there, you uphold like these white saviors, and you uphold these people for identity politics, like AOC and all these people, but you can't hold them accountable. And the moment somebody that's also a person of color says something against that, because I don't fall in line with your stupid little fucking shit, you have to malign, vilify, call me a Russian ass. I get called a Russian still, and like a right-wing grifter and all this other crap. Well, I just find it hilarious.
I'm starting to lose it right now. The last 2 weeks on Twitter is a little bit different. If you can start looking through, you'll see the attacks coming. I always thought because I wasn't as harsh as you and Niko, because you and Niko you guys can really embarrass somebody in a nice way, and it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's just, I never had that ability, I thought, but now I'm just going full blaze going on people right now. So that's why I get there's a couple people attacking me now about this whole election thing. I don't care. Bring it on, you donkeys. Donny Gnome.
Chumps.
You chumps. Thank you for the super chat contribution. Is always appreciated on the couch. That's why we need a resource-based economy. Bring in Peter Joseph for an interview. Peter Joseph, where you at? We'll talk to you. Otis B, what's up, my friend? I have to go back to the beginning. If any progressives oppose Pelosi, it'll be Jamal Bauman and Cory Bush. They haven't had time to be corrupted. You know, I heard Jamal Bauman. It was on Eileen Tepper's Twitter today. She had a chance to ask Bauman a question about Julian Assange. And he kind of gave that answer where, well, I don't know everything about his case, but...
Oh, my God.
Like, I mean, what do you mean you don't know everything about his case and whatnot? And let me tell you something. Bauman and Bush... Bauman was just bragging about the Obama endorsement. Yeah. So I don't...
He did call him out on the funding the police thing. But, again, this is a tweets and stuff. Let's see what they do in Congress. But, you know, Jimmy Dore got in a lot of trouble for criticizing them already because they haven't showed... the foreign policy takes or Assange takes or a free speech stuff. They haven't. They don't. That's the problem with the progressive left or whatever considered left. They don't focus on these things. So
I mean, he just gave an answer I thought was kind of weak today. He was like,
extremely weak.
He goes, I'm all about freedom of press. I'm all about, you know, exposing the government, but I don't know a lot about his case. It's like, what do you mean you don't know a lot about his case?
Well, you should. It's one of the most important cases, if not the most important case of
he left himself an out, fam. He left himself an out.
Yeah.
Otis B. also say, I just saw AOC's response. Hopefully you understand why we'll destroy anyone who does not support all three of our demands, end police brutality, end mass incarceration, and provide reparations. That is Otis B. Thank you for that super chat contribution. And also Gary, I'm going to try to say this name right, Gerskowitz. Yes, Gary Gerskowitz. What a beautiful name. I'm Gary Gerskowitz. You guys are great. Keep up the fight. Message from Gary Gerskowitz. That's a Boca Raton name if I've ever seen one, baby.
Really? What's a Boca Raton name?
Gerskowitz is a great one. Let's talk about the last subject.
Yeah.
Johnny, anything to follow up on with the election and the succeeding from Allen West and
all right, so
lack of standing? No?
No. Okay.
All right, so let's talk about this here. I'm sure a lot of people saw this. This came out last night, fam. Today we got kicked off a United flight from going from Denver to Newark because our 2-year-old wouldn't comply and keep her mask on. Go see it on my full Instagram. Johnny, you could skip ahead of a little bit and you can just show what happened when they get kicked off. They kicked her off the plane. So she tried. Here it is. There's Daddy trying to put the mask on.
Musa Okay. Okay. Ako yung manasetan.
Babe, do you want to try putting it on her?
Yeah.
Airline.
Musa Tavani.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're almost ready to go. So please put away your carry-on items, including your large electronic devices like laptops. Feel free to keep using it.
I'm going to have to ask you to grab the belongings and that's good, but we got to be getting away from this. Why? We're over here holding this mask on her face. I'm sorry, sir. I gave you another opportunity. I took that opportunity and I ran with it. You see this? I'm literally covering her face. I've got to ask you to get out. You guys do this all the time or what? Like, what? If there's non-compliance, yeah. This is compliance. I'm literally holding it over my daughter's face. This is compliance right here.
We can't force her. We're literally holding it and she's crying.
You're gonna do this to us? Like right now? Yeah? Wow.
Alright, let's go.
Your jacket's up there.
Okay. Go.
There's a second part too as well. They took their baggage. They sent their baggage to Newark. The plane was going from Denver to Newark. They sent the baggage there. They wouldn't even take their baggage off. And they have now banned them from using American Airlines. Here was the exchange with the gentleman too as well. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, you tell me. This is
ridiculous.
I'm not so I just think that it's so stupid how you enforce this so strict.
It is.
It makes zero sense.
There's no compliance.
This virus has a 99% survival rate. You know what I mean? Like, if we use our minds,
They're wearing
What happens
masks.
now?
The kid isn't wearing a mask.
It's 2 years old.
Can you work?
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
You can't fly me. You can't fly me.
So we're barred off United.
Yes. For an undetermined period. I don't know what.
Because our 2-year-old daughter would not put on a mask. Not us, but our 2-year-old daughter.
I get it. I get it.
What do you mean you get it? But like I don't understand.
You should say
She's 2. She's literally 2.
This is fucking stupid.
There's a no tolerance.
I'm so sorry.
What do you mean? We've flown all summer. She's flown with us. And they never had this policy. It was under 5. She's 2. How are you going to enforce a 2-year-old?
That's the rules.
Okay. So what are we doing? We're gonna bags. Like what happens now?
We have 3 bags on that plane.
They'll go on to your destination.
They're gonna go into
What?
the station now. We're gonna stop that plane right now.
Our child seat is on that plane. How are we supposed to go home? Is this an actual joke? Like,
So they sent the car seat, the bags to Newark, left them behind, and said you can't ride with American Airlines anymore. So,
This is absolutely disgusting. They should sue them.
I'm sure they're going to.
They should sue the airline. I mean, I'm not somebody that's trigger happy for suing, but that is, I mean, if that happened to me, I'm putting myself in their position. I would be so livid, you guys. Like I would turn into a full Fiorella. Like it's their 2-year-old kid. They're wearing masks. They're complying. They're adults that are able to reason and say, okay, I'm gonna wear a mask. It's their policy. It's a flight. We've got COVID. Like, it's not like I'm saying don't wear a mask or whatever, especially if you're in close quarters with people you don't know where they're coming from. You're in a plane. Sure, wear a mask, etc. But a 2-year-old, if the 2-year-old, doesn't put on the mask, you're going to kick the whole family out. And you're not going to give them their bags. That is excessive. That is ridiculous. That is the epitome of
And they want a bailout. Should we give them the bailout money? Let's give them the bailout money.
They already got tons of bailout money.
Well, they want more bailout money because they're still suffering.
No, not until we give it to these people that have been screwed by the system. All these people that are losing everything. No, that's disgusting.
Poikinen is in Colorado, fam, today. We got Burmis and our other friends in D.C.
Nice.
Poikinen is out there in the Free Assange vigil out there from 12 to 1 today. It already took place. Journalism is not a crime, so they're out there. If you see any love or support, you can send to Action for Assange. They're out there doing some great work.
They are.
Steve Poikinen is out there, so we want to send our love and safe travels to Steve Poikinen. Free Assange now. Well, listen, after this last situation with Donald Trump getting shut down here, I know they're going to continue to still fight on. They're going to go back to the lower courts. In Georgia, they filed an emergency injunction and everything. Right now is the time, Donald Trump. Free Assange, pardon Assange,
if you
pardon
pardon
Snowden.
Assange,
Let's go. Let's do
you would
this.
get all these people that are.
Forget about
Yeah.
it. Forget about it. This is the
That
time.
would be smart.
Do it now. They don't
do
care
it.
about you, the military-industrial complex, the deep state, the big tech. They don't care about you. Pardon Assange. Do it now, Donald Trump. WikiLeaks. He gave you the election. Now you owe him because you owe us. You owe freedom of speech a lot. Give it to us right now. Pardon Assange. And in other news, Jimmy Lai was denied bail in China, Hong Kong.
Jimmy Lai. Remind people who Jimmy Lai is.
Jimmy Lai is a oligarch from Hong Kong. Has media, whatnot. He's a big investor in Hong Kong. They had a new law. They pretty much they arrested him, Beijing, the Chinese government. And now they have said no bail for Jimmy Lai whatsoever. So I'm just interested to see what's going to happen if this new administration comes in with Joe Biden. What's going to happen? Because I know Joe Biden and Jimmy Lai are friends.
Yep.
The establishment is friends with Jimmy Lai. But he's also friends with the Trump administration and the anti-Chinese people.
Yeah, because they're both
anti-Beijing.
They're both anti-China.
So whatnot, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's interesting to see what's going to happen with Jimmy Lai, but no bail for him.
People have been talking about the Uyghurs again.
I'm sure they have.
Because, there's more and more people are saying that the narrative was false regarding them in the camps, and more people are talking about it. So we talked about that a long time ago. Pasta in
Yeah,
particular.
yeah. I mean,
was
I'm a panda hugger, is what I'm called right now.
Gloria Jones made a meme with you in the eyes that says
the Uyghurs, man. But I mean, as you start looking into the connections financially now with all these other
NEDs.
Democratic parties, and you know what I'm saying, it's like, wait a second, like, you know, you see Swalwell hanging out with a Chinese spy, you know, Joe Biden and Hunter with Seneca Wallace, you know, Seneca Partners, excuse me, not Seneca Wallace, Seneca Partners and whatnot. So I mean, there's funding going in a lot of, you know, when it comes to Netflix and all these other things. So I don't know what it is about a lot of people on the right that like to make that kind of comparison. Well, if this is true, then it must be true about the Uyghurs, and they're taking the Uyghurs and they're harvesting organs and they're sending them over. You know, I don't believe that shit. I still need a lot more proof right now when it comes to that stuff. You can't deny the money lines, and you're very curious, and I'm looking into them, and it's definitely changing a lot of my perspective. But, you know, we'll just continue to monitor things as they go along. We'll see the relationship that the Biden campaign has with people like Jimmy Lai and what's going on. So I don't know.
Basically,
you know?
What I think is like there are forces in China who are pro-Western and who want a more Western system. And they want to align themselves with people in America who want that as well. So they're going to make those connections, while simultaneously there are people in the Chinese government who want us out and want us nothing to do with us that are fighting for that as well. And all of this gets caught in the middle. So
it's interesting because we have a situation where, you know, they were so down. They were just the country was poor. It was in ruins. And they took all the money, all the things that they made for our country for years, took that money and became the purveyor of our currency, and then used that to do whatever they can to buy influence in certain times. I don't know. It's still a lot of things going on. Rocky Bellinger just sent me this video, and it was kind of alarming what the head dean teacher kind of said at this one university about some of the connections they had within the government to get things done, because they had the money, they held on for so many long, and they bought influence. And they bought influence in media, they bought influence in entertainment. So what is that influence is the question. You know what I'm saying? I think Alex Jones gets a little bit crazy with the whole situation that they're trying to turn our government into a communist government and whatnot. And once again, you know, you can't deny the money lines, and we have to take a look at this and see what's going on. But when they say that the Chinese government wants more of the Biden in office than the Trump in office, it's hard to argue that, because you see the money. You see the money lines, and it's kind of say, oh, wait a second here, something's going on.
Yeah, both sides have been anti-China.
Well, no, China. I mean, nothing like Donald Trump. Donald Trump has been really anti-China. So, just interesting. I don't know. Remains to be seen, because it's a lot to figure out. We'll continue to monitor, and we'll see what's going on.
So real quick, I want to play this. Steve Cox, a controversial figure on Twitter, I believe. He said this was May 20, 1962. 18 months later, he was killed. Nearly 60 years later, we the people are still waiting for what President JFK was proposing in his speech from Madison Square Garden. I don't know if y'all have ever seen this.
No.
But this is pretty interesting.
I think
England is entirely different. In England, the entire cost of medicine for people of all ages, all of it, doctors, the choice of doctors, hospitals, from the time you're born to the time you die, are included in a government program. But what we're talking about is entirely different. And I hope that while he's here, he and Dr. Spock and others who have joined us will come to see what we're trying to do. The fact of the matter is that what we are now talking about doing, most of the countries of Europe did years ago. The British did it 30 years ago. We are behind every country pretty nearly in Europe in this matter of medical care for our citizens. And then those who say that this should be left to private effort. In those hospitals in New Jersey where the doctors said they wouldn't treat anyone, who paid their hospital bills through Social Security, those hospitals and every other new hospital, the American people, all of us, contribute 1/2, 1 or 2/3 for every new hospital, the national government. We pay 55% of all the research done. We help young men become doctors. We are concerned with the progress of this country. And those who say that what we are now talking about spoils our great pioneer heritage should remember that the West was settled with 2 great actions by the national government. One, in President Lincoln's administration, when he gave a homestead to everyone who went west. And in 1862, he set aside government property to build our land-grant colleges. This cooperation between an alert and progressive citizenry and a progressive government is what has made this country great, and we shall continue as long as we have the opportunity.
Wow.
And how many years later, and we still don't have health care for all? We're still arguing just to bring it to a floor vote, and you're going to tell me that we can reform the Democratic Party? I go back to that because look how long this has been going on. Look how long we've been saying that all these countries already have healthcare included in their system. This is why I don't support a public option, because it is the minimal. It's been years, decades. Literally, people have come and been born and died, and we still can't even get what England had decades ago. Come on, people. We can't even bring it up to a floor vote? Are you fucking kidding me? This is why you should be angry. This is why we're still saying this shit, because nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. Progressives come into the party, they leave. Nothing has changed. We can't reform this party. It is beyond reform.
Ooh. Thank you to Larry Janney over on the Rokfin. 22 people watching. We can use a couple more. Breaking the Rokfin Dono Cherry. Glad to see you all are at least feeling a little better. Was worried there for a while. We need each and every one of us fighting Larry Janney. Thank you for the super chat contribution. Thank you for hanging on out on the Rokfin, Larry. Larry. I'm going to get over to that house, Larry. I'm going to eat that dog for breakfast. You hear me, Larry?
Larry.
Lori Mountain Pal Gal, thank you so much for the super chat contribution.
Lori.
Concern over the loss of civil liberties in the big tech, big pharma sponsored COVID-19 power grab is not just a right-wing thing. You better believe it.
You're right.
You know?
But that's what we get accused of when we talk about it. It is crazy. This woman called me. She echoed Emma Vigilant. Oh, left QAnon for talking about somebody was commenting on the Great Reset and all this stuff, and The Intercept just did an article mocking that, by the way, and I was like, the CIA intercepted the Intercept, but and Whitney Webb does actual journalism where she talks about that, and so does Vanessa Beeley. She just did a whole other thing on censorship. Check out those articles on Unlimited Hangout. People actually talking about the security state, talking about these things, doing some amazing work over there. And it's like, it's ridiculous. They make a mockery out of what is actually happening. They make it a conspiracy theory. So, like, if you are actually serious about having a discussion, you're automatically discredited from the start by even bringing it up. And it's disgusting that a lot of the left, like The Intercept, is playing right into that. But it's no surprise with where their funding comes from. Why do you think Glenn left?
Yeah, I'm done with this left-right paradigm and stuff like that. You have to be an independent thinker. The divisions were put there to divide us. That's exactly why they're there, to keep us fighting with each other so nothing gets done. The right says this, the left says that. Like I told you, everybody on the right says everybody on the left is a commie. Everybody on the left says everybody on the right is a fascist. And get off your soapbox. Let's go talk to one another. We are Americans. We're all getting killed here. We're humans. We're getting it, and there's a group of people that are running around controlling everything on this planet while we're all suffering, okay? And then during a pandemic, they can't give you health care? Please. And if they're going to shut you down and say that you can't operate in your small businesses, then you better have a financial solution there that's going to help them out. People are losing everything. Everything. And you want to sit there and say, well, you better stay home. Like, no, you can't tell somebody to stay home unless you present a financial solution for them.
A $1,200 check isn't enough.
One $1,200 check in 8 months.
And even another one isn't enough. That's going to go away like this. That doesn't even cover people's rents. What are we talking about here? Stop begging for scraps. Demand what you deserve. And this is what we have to do now going forward. I'm not going to shut up about direct action. That's the only thing that we can do right now.
The system was very clearly does not want you healthy. Duh. Wear a mask when it makes sense, but don't be a lazy thinker or a coward. Be like Glory J.
Aw.
That's from Jordan Allen. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jordan Allen. That's a nice way to summarize it and end the show on a good note.
Johnny, anything else? All right, ladies and gentlemen, it was a good show. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the 600 plus people watching all over on YouTube, Rokfin. I know we're on Facebook, and Facebook's a little more neoliberal-ish, but, we still have some femmes there, so just wanted to say, hey.
But go over to the Rokfin, ROKFIN, sign up for a free account if you can. If you got a few extra bucks and you can help us out, we love you. But right now it's some troubling times.
Yeah,
so
we
save your
understand.
money. So all this money that was given to us today, it's just, it's thank you so much. We love you from the bottom of our heart. The fact that you're doing that for us in these troubling times. And if you haven't seen Fiorella's tweet, I made a Facebook post about it too as well. Hit us up at the Convo Couch at gmail.com. If you worked in hospitality on any level, if you've been an owner, if you've been a waiter, if you've been a bartender, if you've been a busboy, if you've been a host, if you've done anything, a chef,
nail
a
salon,
cook,
even
anything
any
hospitality,
like that
nail
has been
salon,
screwed by this,
a smoothie
the system.
maker, anything where you've gotten screwed over right now during the coronavirus. We want to hear your stories. You can always drop a video in there, but I see some people writing out some stories too as well. Just go over and check it out. The Convo Couch at gmail.com. Let's hear your story. We need to elevate your voice about what's going on, because this is not right, because there's been a crazy power grab of money from people at top. There are some Republicans in Staten Island that had a press conference the other day. You know, their place got closed down. And they were talking about, like, when the small guy tries to go out there and make a few $100 to make Christmas money for his family, he gets shut down. But all the elites are sitting at home making all this money. I mean, Jeff Bezos is going to be a trillionaire, fam.
Yep.
A trillionaire. And it's disgusting. So we need to elevate all our voices together and come together and find some real solutions. Thank you so much for watching today for Pasta Jardula.
Shout out to Elizabeth Castillo, who's watching on Facebook.
Oh, Elizabeth Castillo, we hope everything's going great with your case. Did she just say AOC is useless? That's not right for a progressive running in California, Elizabeth
How dare
Castillo.
You? Don't say that. How dare
Love
you?
Love Elizabeth Castillo. She's
for
amazing.
the
Go check
balls.
out her
She's
stuff.
Got balls, Elizabeth.
Yes. I mean, she jumped in late. Nobody was challenging her, the person running, and she did awesome. And I'm glad she is fighting for election integrity. It's the most important issue, ladies and gentlemen. If we don't get it straight, you can't get anything. We can't. Just look what's going on right now. All these donkeys that are in the Democratic Party that don't want to vote on Medicare for all. Well, if we had fair elections and we can throw their asses out, and we know we can throw their asses out, you'll get those things that you want. You'll get them. You'll earn them. And people like Elizabeth Castillo, Maria Estrada, Angelica Duenas, they're out there fighting. Raji Rob, we love
said the
you guys.
names right. Yay.
Thank you so much for Pasta Jardula.
Fiorella.
Johnny Sue on the ones and twos.
Happy Saturday.
Bye, everybody.
Don't go to brunch.
Don't.
Convo out.